Hi, everyone. I'm Lauren Manning from the NFL.
And I'm Arjun Kalyanpur from Code and Theory. And we're here today to talk about a tiny mom-and-pop shop you may have heard of called the National Football League. And yes, we're aware it's May, and the NBA playoffs are on, and baseball's on, and the WNBA is about to start. But we're still talking football because while the season is still a little ways away, football never really stops. Before we dive in, we thought we'd share a quick video that we feel like captures the spirit of the league for our fans and for the less acquainted.
Tonight, we have another part of our journey to determine what type of men we want to be.
How bad do you want it? It's a mentality when you step on that field. Everything you got, every single play, and let's find a way to get a win.
Whatever your opinion of the NFL, there's no denying its popularity or its cultural impact. It dominates the American sports and cable landscape. In the last 5 years, it has accounted for between 70 to 93% of the most watched TV broadcasts each year. It continues to smash viewership records. But cable is changing. Streaming is here. And with the extreme scale of the NFL comes a lot of complexity as we shift into this new landscape. With fan and business needs evolving, NFL digital properties, specifically the app, needed to keep up. In 2022, the NFL launched a new direct-to-consumer streaming service, NFL Plus, a mobile-focused experience that really put the app in the spotlight. But the previous version of the NFL app was built for a different time and different business priorities. It was originally built to serve a more news and editorially focused model, not a D2C video service. It was built on a more rigid tech stack, making it difficult to flex to specific moments and fan preferences. And it was built for pure clarity of information, as opposed to the punchier experiences of newer sports apps. With a shifting business purpose, we had 3 main goals for this rebuild. Reimagine the experience for the modern sports fan, whose expectations have only evolved with their digital experiences. Reflect the passion of the NFL fan base you saw in that video, and support the new product offering by driving promotion of and subscriptions to NFL Plus. Here's what we did.
So, how did we get there? Let's start here, a still from a game. In a split second, you know what's happening. But in reality, you're processing a tremendous amount of data. It's one thing to experience the game, hopefully live. It's a whole other thing to productize it. The NFL app is more than a sports app. It's really a dynamic data product. You probably saw this component a lot in the video you just saw. It's a foundational piece of the app that we call the game card. It's a small but very powerful element. The game card needs to quickly and clearly display a ton of information. Teams, colors, logos, field position, score, game time, timeouts, broadcast networks, media entitlements, and somehow still more. All that data needs to be understood, connected, and accounted for before the game, during the live game, and after the game, every week, every day, and in the case of game day, every few seconds. And not only that, it needs to work for every combination of team and potential game outcome. And not only that, depending on the media rights, the game cards need to clearly differentiate themselves as watchable, like these full color examples, or listen-only audio streams, our more stripped-down, white, basic variations. All of these treatments also need to work in light mode and dark mode and meet accessibility standards across the board. And all of that's really still just the basic building blocks. But remember, we're building an app for fans. And there are some fans who really hate spoilers. So we have a version of these game cards that also allow you to hide the scores. And at this point, we're not just designing content, we're navigating fan trust. And again, this is one component with an exponential amount of variety in data and design, where each state has its own design rules, along with a multitude of special states, somehow more than we've even shown here. But that's still just the beginning, as these aren't just game cards. They expand to become inline media cards for game previews and the live game streams, creating a rich video experience. The two cards on the left and in the middle are the single highest drivers of conversion for our non-subscribers in our app today and represent the center of gravity for nearly all of our experimentation and A/B testing within the app. And the game cards also have simpler live stream siblings, supporting things like pregame shows, NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, and more. It's this one card that makes up the backbone of the core app experience. This is the definition of a supercomponent. We created taxonomies and variables that let us account for a huge range of needs. These powered design and documentation process and were critically helpful in in-season mapping and socialization. However, we also reached the upper bounds of sanity here, as many of you probably witnessed firsthand when using supercomponents. And after our first season live, we're actively working to break these down into more focused, simpler components with their own variable sets.
So, Lauren just walked you through one, though it was massive, and we're rectifying that, but still just one, which serves a lot of purposes, but still just one component in an entire system. But beyond productizing sports data, we had to also ensure we were creating an experience for one of the most popular audiences out there, or particular audiences out there, sports fans. These game cards are just a single Lego piece based on one set of a lot of data. But being fan-first means doing more than just delivering performant media. To capture and convert fans, we need to dynamically compose an entire contextual experience around them. So if you thought that was a lot, now we're about to get a lot wilder. As Lauren said, the game card is the centerpiece of a whole new NFL experience. This new app, specifically this homepage, commits to being more schedule responsive and video first. Centering the homepage from a news-oriented to a video-first experience lets us have an always-on experience, giving the best of the NFL and the best thing for the user in any given moment, whether that's watching the game, recapping the day, or getting ready for the next week. The homepage takes those single Lego pieces and starts to program them into contextual zones. Each of those zones have their own programming logic as well. No matter what day of the week and what content is available, this is the core strategic structure of the homepage, our highest conversion page during the season. A live zone at the top, where live video is available 24/7. That includes live games, live streams, live game audio, and network coverage. An upcoming zone, where you're able to watch or listen to previews for games while seeing what kind of media will be available depending on your region. And a completed zone, where the replays are still prominently featured to keep fans in the app reliving the day or the past week's events. But Sundays aren't just game days, they're marathons. Out of the 16 games in a football week, Sunday offers 14 of them spread across the entire day. This is the app's peak traffic day. Of the 5 million visitors using the app each week on average, over 65% of them visit on Sunday. In addition to the games, we have a 7-hour nonstop show called Red Zone that provides whip-around coverage to the best moments across the league. And additionally, we have live streams like pregame and postgame shows. So in essence, when I say designing for Sunday, that's not about designing for the day, but strategically about winning every hour to keep fans engaged and in the app. Early morning, mid-morning, afternoon, prime time, they all have very different content offerings and very different user mindsets. But one quick note before we go even deeper. Lauren talked about watchable games versus listen-only games. And that's because the games you can watch are based on where you're located, meaning for each user, there's a location-based lens to the list of games they're seeing. So a fan watching the 49ers here in San Francisco is going to get the video broadcast of that game. But if you're in Denver or New York or LA, you're only going to be able to get audio coverage, which, as you can see, drops the card in the top left from a video slot and design treatment to an audio slot with the audio treatment. In effect, the same game needs to show up differently depending on where you are when you open the app. And the app and the data system and the design system need to know these things instantly to present you with the right experience for you. So what you end up with is, on a Sunday, pregame hype first thing in the morning with a countdown to Red Zone and the pregame shows. Then Sunday morning games kick off with Red Zone, your morning local games live, plus multiple games available to listen to. A midday transition to what we call the late window, a smaller afternoon slate of games with Red Zone still chugging along, but you're able to start catching up on games you might have missed earlier in the day. And lastly, primetime. Every Sunday night has a nationwide primetime game. Red Zone is over, it's the full focus, but we have NFL Network covering the day's events. And there's a ton of game replays and highlights and news to catch up on as well. Let's recap again, though, and this is going to sound familiar. We spent all this time talking about one component on one page on one day of the week. Even if Sunday is the center of gravity, the app has to maintain fan excitement every day of the week. It's the only way to build a loyal audience, is to provide them consistent value every day. So we had to create elegant ways to scale the page down in complexity while maintaining our video-first and fan-first strategic principles. At the core, as we said, the page leads with live video. On Monday, that's the Monday Night Football game, which is paired with replays and highlights from the previous week. Ironically, Tuesday is the end of the NFL week. There are no more live games. We moved the 24/7 live network coverage to the top of the page, while the rest of the experience focuses on your end-of-football weekend recap, news and highlight packages prioritized by your favorite team. Wednesday transitions into the start of our next football week, focusing on matchup previews for each game and the latest news to know about around fantasy, matchups, injuries, and more. Thursday is the first game of the football week, so we flex a game back to the top of the page alongside timely highlights to summarize the action. But since it's only one game, we're still using Network as a live stream experience around that window to give context to the upcoming slate of games. And then lastly, Friday and Saturday, the calm before the storm, recapping Thursday while providing a more comprehensive overview of the madness of Sunday. Network and the game previews are the focus, and to build hype and anticipation, a countdown clock for Red Zone appears on Saturday night. And we rinse and repeat that for 18 weeks of the regular season, 4 weeks of preseason, 4 weeks of postseason. But again, not to sound like a broken record, that's just one part of the app. This same logic and effort needed to apply to every aspect of the experience, from your news hub to your team page to your player pages to scores, standings, and schedule. Everything always had to connect, intersect, and coordinate to deliver the best view of the league. To define, document, and power this experience, we had to do a lot of mapping and diagramming and flows and mapping and diagramming and flows for every page, every day of the week, every week of the season, trying to ensure business logic, experience goals, technical feasibility, the NFL schedule, marketing realities, programming realities were all considered, accounted for, and most importantly, delivering the best fan experience possible. We found a healthy balance between excited by the possibilities and overwhelmed by the nuance. And we thought we'd share some photos from one of our sessions.
But I've always believed if you can see it, you can solve it. So despite all of this, we leaned into visualization within all this complexity. We found a difference in the use cases for these types of maps, from the earlier, more standard needs during design and development to navigating the dynamic complexity of an app like this during the season and using what we called experience maps to communicate various states of data, time of day, time of week, programming plans, marketing needs, and a lot more. Things like Figma Buzz are really going to help us with the non-designers that need to be able to see maps like this. They aim to create clarity and alignment and ultimately helped us get where we needed to go. So far, we focused a lot on data, but this is also beyond just a video and media experience. It's a whole football experience. For the app redesign, we needed to create an entirely new design system. We needed a system that refreshed and modernized the design while still maintaining a strong connection to the power of the 100-year-old NFL brand. We also needed to support not just the league brand, but the 32 teams and their associated identities and color systems, as well as a massive portfolio of sub-brands, things like NFL Plus, Red Zone, and Network that have their own identity systems as well. So we created a design system that felt fresh and new and vibrant and aimed to evoke the energy and excitement of the game and of fandom. It went beyond a data and video experience and was about the teams. We created a design system that could scale across each team and bring the passion and identity of fandom to life, and resulted in one of my all-time views, this awesome rainbow of football. We also built an experience for the news. This is about communicating the latest from the league in a variety of ways, from articles to highlights to deep dives to quick hits. This app connects fans to the latest going on all around the league. And for fans with a favorite team, we made sure we could enable a way that the content they care the most about would be bubbled up to the surface so they could get it in one quick touch. And it's about stats. As a data nerd myself, I loved finding ways to bring the immense amounts of stats to life for fans within this experience. This includes highlighting stats and data for the matchups before the game, during the live game, and after a game, as well as finding the right hierarchy and information density for each moment, aiming for optimal usability for a fan. We also brought to life individual team and player stats and standings, as well as statistical leaderboards, enabling fans to explore whatever stats they find most interesting within the experience. So far, we focused primarily on the primary objective of the app, providing an awesome experience in season. However, the NFL app also extends outside of the regular season and needs to provide the best of football 365 days of the year. This includes tentpole moments like playoffs and Super Bowl, where the brand of each game gets bigger and bigger and starts to have its own identity. New color systems, special design treatments, and features like a playoff bracket emerge at this time of the year. And we also have big off-season moments once the live games end. For example, the NFL Combine, where a new crop of players is evaluated for their potential fit in the NFL. As you can see here, there's a whole new slew of stats and data and experience moments that we need to design and consider for. As well as the NFL Draft that just happened, where 32 teams build their future by selecting new players across 7 rounds and 250 picks. It's one of my favorite moments of the entire year as a huge college football fan, as it marks the transition from a college player to starting your future in the NFL, a moment most of these players have dreamed about their whole lives.
So what we hope we've communicated today is that this is more than a sports story. This is a story of data and complexity, whether that's productizing game data, orchestrating an entire experience around it. We're creating a design system of 30-plus sub-brands that need to all be unique but feel like they're all NFL. And fans aren't just about one app. It goes beyond that. They demand that the ecosystem delivers on those same expectations and that same feel, no matter what channel they use. And so with these foundations and principles in place, this redesign and this experience strategy and this design system are now being extended to the rest of the NFL digital ecosystem, including web and connected TV, in a way that's fit for purpose for those channels, what they bring to the NFL and what they offer, but most importantly, what they deliver for our fans.
So now you've gotten a look behind the scenes at the new NFL app. It's bold, it's data-powered, it's dynamic, and it's just getting started, so stay tuned. And let's not forget, football is a team sport, and there was a massive crew of amazing people who worked really hard to bring this redesign and rebuild to life. Far too many to list everyone, but here are some core folks from the NFL and Code and Theory teams across strategy, product, UX, design, development, QA, and more. It was an incredible team effort. So we hope we've made some new NFL fans today, and we've gotten you 20 minutes closer to kickoff. Thank you.